Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with Geography, Chapter 6, Manufacturing Industries. As you can see, the name manufacturing, we will do the definition of manufacturing. What is manufacturing? Then we will do importance of manufacturing. Then agriculture and industries relation with each other, contribution of industry to the national economy, and then industrial location. So let's start with the first part. You can see here how manufacturing is done. Before I start the chapter, there is a small incident which I am going to tell you. On the occasion of Diwali, we all know that it is a Hindu festival where most of us celebrate. Harish went to a market with his parents. They purchased shoes and clothes for him. His mother purchased utensils, sugar, tea, diyas. Harish observed that the shops in the markets were flooded with items for sale. He wondered how so many items could be made in such large quantities. You can see that there are varied varieties of goods and varieties of so many varieties of goods and with a large amount of quantities. So he had a question in his mind and he asked his father. And his father explained that shoes, clothes, sugar are manufactured by machines in large industries, and some utensils are manufactured in small industries, while the small things like diyas or candles, they are made by individual artisans in the household sector or household industry. So, what do you mean by the term production? Production of goods in large quantities after processing from raw materials to more valuable products is called manufacturing. That means when a raw material which is of lesser value is converted into a finished product, it is called and it is done to add value to it, it is known as manufacturing. Now, it is not necessary that the manufacturing has to be done only in the big industries. It can be done in the factories, in the big industries, or even in the household industry also. We have lots of examples for the manufacturing. For example, sugar from sugar cane. Sugar cane is a raw material. Sugar is finished product which is made in the factories and industries. Cloth from cotton. Again, cotton is a raw material. Paper from wood. Wood is a raw material. Iron from iron ore. Iron ore is a raw material. In the same way, there are some of these industries which further become base for many other industries. People employed in this sector are called as they are employed in the secondary activities, as manufacturing comes under the secondary activities. For example, we have so many workers who are employed in iron and steel industries or textile industries, etc. So this chapter, we are mainly concerned with manufacturing industries which fall in the secondary sector. We come to the next part, that is importance of manufacturing or need of manufacturing. Children, here the first question here is, in this part which we have done, define the term manufacturing, or what do you mean by the term manufacturing? Give two examples. So you will define it and give two examples. Next is need of manufacturing. Here you have first lines itself is a question and it is a feature also. Economic strength of a country is measured from the development of manufacturing industries. Explain. So the question is that it will be inverted commas question. The economic strength of a country is measured by the development of manufacturing industries. Explain. So when this question comes, you have to explain importance or need of manufacturing. So either if they will ask you what is the importance of manufacturing or the need of manufacturing, or they will give these lines as a question. The answer is same. So the first point as answer is they reduce the dependency of people on agriculture. That is, we have seen that in agriculture sector there is so much of disguised unemployment. So when there are more number of factories or industries, more number of people will migrate from agriculture sector to the manufacturing sector. That will reduce the dependency of people on the agriculture. Then we also say that manufacturing industries, they not only help in modernizing agriculture, or they are the backbone of our economy also. We have seen that a lot of products which are made in the manufacturing sector, they are used in the agriculture sector. When I talk about, for example, we have fertilizers, pesticides, even high yielding variety seeds, and so many machines, threshers, sprinklers, pump sets, all these which are made in the industries, they are used in the agriculture. So because of manufacturing, agriculture sector is becoming modernized and they are reducing the dependency of people on agriculture. Second point is they provide jobs as well as they eradicate poverty and unemployment. We say that industrial development is a precondition for eradication of unemployment and poverty from our country. That means if we have to remove poverty from our country, we need this manufacturing sector. Without this, we cannot remove poverty and unemployment from our country. That is why after the independence in our country, many public sector industries and joint sector ventures in India have come up, and many industries have laid down in such remote areas, in certain regions, in certain states where there are remote areas, where there are tribal people and backward people live. In certain areas, so many factories and industries have set up so that they can remove poverty and unemployment in these areas, so that there can be equality among all the regions. Then we have next point, export of manufactured goods. When the goods are manufactured and when we export them, what we are expanding? We are expanding our country's trade and commerce. And not only this, when we are manufacturing the goods, it is bringing a lot of foreign exchange. because we know that the finished products, cost of finished products is more than the cost of raw materials. So when we export these goods, we earn lot of foreign exchange. That is how we can say that these manufacturing is very important for the country's development. Then countries that transform their raw materials into a wide variety of furnished goods of higher value are prosperous. When we talk about the developed countries, why they are developed countries? It is because they have a lot of manufacturing sector. That means they mainly export the finished products. Why India is a developing country is we mainly export the raw materials and import the finished products. And we know that the value of finished products is higher than the value of raw materials. So those countries which are converting their raw materials into finished products, they are able to get prosperous or they are becoming the developed countries. So children, this is your importance of manufacturing. So one more question can be formed on this, which is a board question, that is, manufacturing sector is considered the backbone of development or backbone of economic development. Explain. So that time you have to give these points and explain them in your words. If you just write the points, you will not get full marks. You have to write the point and explain also, as I have explained you each point. So 5 points, if it comes for 5, generally it comes for 5 marks. So you have to explain at least 5 marks. That's how we complete the definition of manufacturing and then the need of manufacturing or importance of manufacturing. We have one more question here, just after the importance of manufacturing. Again, these are the lines which are given in exam. These are: agriculture and industry are not exclusive of each other. In other words, agriculture and industry, they go hand in hand. Explain. So this is how the question is asked. They can ask you either the first line or the second line as a question. Agriculture and industry are not exclusive of each other. Justify the statement. Or agriculture and industry go hand in hand. Explain. When this question comes, what will you write? What is the meaning of the question? Meaning of the question is, both these, agriculture and industry, they are dependent on each other. They have to go together or they are dependent on each other. And this question, when it comes, always it will come explained with examples. So you have to write in 2 paragraphs. First example, that how agriculture is dependent on industry, and then second example is how industry is dependent on agriculture. For example, we know that agriculture is modernized because of manufacturing sector. A lot of the green revolution has introduced a lot of manufacturing goods into the agriculture sector. For example, we have so many pump sets which are used in the irrigation system. We have so many machines, whether it is any grinder or any kind of machines, threshers, sprinklers. Then we have fertilizers, pesticides, high yielding variety seeds. All these are which are made in the industries. They become again base for the agriculture sector. So agriculture sector becomes modernized by using these. Second part is how industry is dependent on agriculture. Again, agro-based industries. There are several industries which are based on or which are dependent on agriculture for its raw material. For example, sugar industry dependent on sugarcane. In the same way, cloth industry dependent on cotton. In the same way, we have jute industry dependent upon the raw jute. So we have so many examples that how industries are dependent on the agriculture sector. So we have seen that both of them, they go hand in hand, or both of them are dependent on each other. So in this way, you will explain in 2 paragraphs with examples and give your answer. Thus, both of them are dependent on each other. We all know that in present day, we have globalization at present. The trade takes place at the world level. So we need industries to be very efficient, and these industries have to compete with the other countries' industries also. So we need to produce good quality of the goods. If we have to remain in the competition with the other countries, we have to produce par in quality. That means our quality should be at par with the other countries or at the international level quality. Then only we can sustain in this market. And now that is why we come to the next part, contribution of industry to national economy. How much our industry contributes to our GDP, to our national economy? Over the last 2 decades, the share of manufacturing sector has stagnated at 17% of GDP. That means over these 2 decades, stagnated means remained same. Share of manufacturing sector has almost remained same, but the government is expecting the growth rate of 12%, which has to be achieved, which we have not achieved yet, but we have to achieve. That is the government's target. Since 2003, manufacturing is once again growing at the rate of 9 to 10% per annum. It was earlier only 7% growth rate was there. But from 2003, there is a slight increase in the growth rate from 9 to 10% per annum. Our government has set up the National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council, which is called as NMCC. It has been set up by the government to achieve certain objectives. What are these objectives? Number one, to improve the productivity. To improve productivity. That is the first objective of this organization. Second, to achieve the desired growth rate of 12% by the next decade. So to achieve these two targets, the government had set up the National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council. Children learn the full form of NMCC. And in this, you can just learn how much contribution it is giving to the GDP. It is 17%. Rest you need not have to learn. This is only for your information I have given. But you have to definitely learn the full form of NMCC and its two objectives. So that completes one more part. We have the next part, that is industrial location. Now if I ask you, when you grow up, if you want to set up your own industry or your own factory, what factors you will look at? What will you look at? What do you require for your setting up of a factory? So there are certain factors upon which it is based that whether you want to locate your industry or factory in that location or not. Now, what are these factors? These are geographical factors and non-geographical factors. Now, first thing which comes to your mind, suppose you are setting up an iron and steel industry. What do you require is raw material. So you will locate your industry where raw material is at sold at cheaper cost, because you want the raw material at cheaper cost, then only you will get the profit. So you will look in those areas. For example, if you are setting up your sugar mills, definitely you will look at those regions where sugarcane is growing more, then only you will get the profit. So availability of raw material, then we have availability of water. Every industry for processing requires water. So you will look at again availability of water at cheap cost, and then definitely good climate, because your industry you cannot set up in the harsh climatic conditions, definitely where the labor also will not be able to work. And you want definitely a terrain which is suitable for the people. You cannot set up your industry in such areas where the terrain is so much rugged or uneven. So definitely good climate we require. Then we have non-geographical factors. To add this, there are so many other factors where you would like to locate your industry. Example, we have availability of electricity. Definitely every factory industry needs the electricity. So cheap electricity, cheap and skilled labor. If you are setting up a factory and there is no labor, again you will not get any profit. So you need cheap and skilled labor. Then we have transport and communication facilities, which are very much required. For example, when I talk about any industry which is located in the say Chhattisgarh or Jharkhand, and if they do not have proper transport and communication facilities, then those goods will not reach to the market. And then market is also a very essential factor. How? For example, if I set up a woolen textile industry in southern India, say in Kerala or in Tamil Nadu, if I set up a woolen textile industry, do you think that my industry will get the profit? Definitely not, because in southern India there is hardly the it's a winter climate is hardly there. So that is how we have to think. Market here doesn't mean a small shop. Market here means demand. Where the demand is there if you set up that factory, then you will get the profit. Then we have capital investment, where your investment will be least. You will try to locate your industry or factory, or set up an industry or a factory in a place where the investment is very low, because if your investment is high, your profit level will go down. And then we come to the suitable government policies also. Our industry should be located in such a place where government comes up with certain policies. For example, I have one example, like if you set up industry in a particular location, government gives you some relaxability in taxation, cheaper water facility, availability of water at cheaper prices. It will provide you electricity at a cheaper cost. Such areas are there, specified areas are there in our country. And those areas, I'm coming up to the next slide, those areas are called as agglomeration economies. Those areas are also called as agglomeration economies. Now, what is agglomeration economy? It is urban center where many industries tend to come together to make use of the advantages offered by the urban centers. So I'll put this slide at the end. Later on, I'll show you again, children. So what is agglomeration economy? I'm just explaining orally. It is an economy, or you can say that it's simple, in simple terms, it's a area. It's an urban center where the government has given certain advantage. That is why many industries tend to come together to make use of these advantages which are offered by these urban economies or urban centers. So those areas are called as agglomeration economies. In those areas, you will see large industrial agglomeration takes place. When I talk about Noida, when I talk about even Gurgaon, these also we can consider them as the agglomeration economies. They are part of these urban cities. Now, they have expanded so rapidly, and you have seen so many IT sector, whatever it is, IT sector or even other industries have come up in these areas because they share the benefit which the government is giving in these areas. So, if you talk about before independence, most of the manufacturing units were located in the few places of our country through which our overseas trade can take place. Because our trade used to take place through the water routes only, mostly at that time. So most of our industries were located in Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, etc. But subsequently or consequently later on, after the independence, many other urban centers or cities today have emerged as a large amount of industrial economies, or you can say agglomeration economies. Now, which is the place? Now, when I talk about all these factors, do you think that all these factors which we have discussed, geographical factors and non-geographical factors, all of them are available in one place? Do you have any such area where all are there? You have cheap labor, you have cheap raw material, cheap water availability, good climate, transport communication facilities, cheap skilled labor, everything. If such an area is there in our country, everybody would like to set up their industry there. So, what will be the most suitable area where you would like to set up an industry? So, I have one line I am telling you. The key to decision of the factory location is the least cost. It is the least cost. That means you will locate your industry in a place where most of them are available at the cheap cost. That is, we also call it as least cost. So that is the place where you will locate your industry. So that is the first part of the chapter, children, which I have completed today. So I'm just telling you what we have done. We have done the definition of manufacturing with examples. Then we have importance of manufacturing, all the points. Then we have agriculture and industry, not exclusive of each other. Then contribution of industry to national economy. And we have done location of industries, an ideal location of the industry. So that's all children for today's video. In the next video, we will talk about classification of industries. So have a good day, students.